Hey Boo Buddies, Anya here, and welcome back for some more stationery fun. I'm doing something different today. I've got not my notebook, but my Archer and Olive notepad. This is the A5 Neapolitan notepad from Archer and Olive, and it's really handy to have for some outside notebook projects, and one of which I'm doing today. And that project being, if you saw my recent video, you will know that I have a picture book coming out in September. So I thought this would be a good time for today's project to show you how I make my Hallow-zines. That's magazine meets Halloween, and it is, if you do not know, that is a tradition of mini magazine type thing that people have been doing since the 70s and 80s. That really was big in the 1980s, but I have been using the idea for the last 6 years to make a little mini picture book to give away for trick-or-treaters every year. So it's something that's fun, it's something that's unique, it's something that doesn't cost me more than some time and a little bit of energy, and it's very inclusive so that even people with allergies or religious restrictions when it comes to candy and treats, they can have something fun to get in their goodie bags. So the Archer and Olive notepad is actually a really great way to plan one out, which is what I'm doing. So you can see that I have drawn out my thumbnails, and I've actually got too many, really. So what I've done is I've drawn it out in the way that I want it to lay out, and then I've got an extra at the end, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm starting with my opener and closer, which will be my cover. And when you fold the paper to make the booklet, then you need to, it will be the cover will actually be one layout that will fold into the back cover. And so I wanted to plan out what it will look like, but also the cover as a whole, so that when I go to actually do the cover page that I'm going to make, I need to know what the whole thing looks like, and then what it'll look like when it's folded up. So a traditional booklet zine, Hallow-zine, that I am making, there's 8 surfaces, so technically 6 pages with a cover, with a front and back cover, and it can get a little confusing where each one goes if you're not used to it. I will do the folding and whatnot, and the layout of where the pages end up in a different video. But right now we're just planning the thumbnails. So I already wrote out the text that I'm going to do for this year's Hallow-zine, and it's in a different notebook. Sorry, there's still some reveal. But I'm doing kind of this one is going to be a witch theme, and just a fun little spell book like thing that I think will be kind of fun for kids to read. And so I'm doing the cover, and so I wanted to make the cover a nice big bold block color. And I think green screams spell book to me. I don't know why all the spell books I envision should be green, because it's a very, well, first of all, I don't think of red when I think of Halloween. I think of green. Orange is also very good, but I don't think orange really translates to book very well. I think green is definitely one of those old book bold colors that's not black, it's not brown, it's a good true color. So I'm gonna do green with some gold finishes to kind of look like buckles on the side, and then of course I've got my little space for the title, and all that will go on the front. Okay, so you can kind of see I'm jumping around a little bit. So I've got a cauldron that's gonna go on page 2, and a broom that's going to go on page 1. So lots of witch imagery going on here, things that I think are very classic witch yeah, things that are very common, and they're very easy to draw. And I have to say that drawing with colored pencils is always colored pencils are definitely meant for coloring and not for detailed sketching, so they kind of tend to smear, and the line tends to be thicker than I want it. But it doesn't really matter. This is not the finished project. This is just planning out where the images are going to fit with the layout with the text. So the other thing that has to be done in the thumbnails is figuring out not just where everything goes on the page. So that's really all we're doing. This is not the final product. This is not the finished resolution. Obviously, these are just rough little thumbnails. It's kind of like storyboarding for like a music video or a movie or something like that. But this is just a storyboard, and the final details will come together as we go on through the project. The other thing I've learned about using thumbnails when making a picture book or even a mini picture book is that it really helps keep the flow straight in my mind. You know, you think you can hold it together and you can outline, and you could be like, and this page will go next to this page, and then you go to put it together and it just doesn't work, and it's because you didn't do your storyboard thumbnails. I have learned that one the hard way for sure. So I'm going to finish this up by going through and numbering the pages. It's pretty straightforward which numbers they are, but especially since I have some multiples, especially with the cover, just to see the final layout and how it needs to flow. So I'm just going to number my pages real quick. And that is the thumbnail process. That is how we start a picture book. The next step, of course, will be turning these thumbnails into big pictures that we can actually work with and see detail in. So that will be another video that I hope you guys will also tune in for. I hope you enjoyed this and found some inspiration. I will see you next time, Boo Buddies.